Ya Allah.
Kita keluar ya.
Oke, nanti titik telu guys.
Di iki.
Setelah.
Iki lah.
Heeh.
Close ya. Dia oke nek close ya.
Jangan. Balik. Sik, deh.
Nah,
Betul.
ya. Oh, tidak. Tak apa tuh. Kantin Ikra ilmu sekarang no. Kecil ya. Ramai ya. Terus kok cilik. Itu tanggal tahun lahir. Orang ngapain kamu? Ada yang single nggak itu, Mas? Nggak nyari orang single di situ. Ini masuk buat atas lagi cuma menjauh. Belum jirna aja dibilangin gue udah siap. Halo Pak Rahmat, kamu cabut dulu nih kabel headsetnya, gue udah mau mulai nih. Bener lalu orang mau presentasi, lo kerjaannya kayak gimana? Satu sana.
Okay, we're going to start the session, everyone. Okay. Okay, we're going to start the session, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, good morning and welcome to the monthly English Massive Workshop. How are you, everyone?
I'm good. What about you?
I'm good. Alhamdulillah.
And you?
Okay, today we'll have the second online workshop series with Miss Yannik Herawati, the Principal Mentor and Curriculum Department Team Sekolah Bina Gemilang, Jakarta. Okay, let me check if Miss Yannik has joined us.
Hello, Miss
Hi,
Mita.
Miss Yannik.
Hello.
How are you, Miss?
I'm doing good, thank you. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear your voice, Miss.
Okay. Hello, Miss Mita.
Hello, how are you, Miss?
I'm doing
Okay, good.
Hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. And also welcome for fellow tutors and all teachers from elementary school and junior high school across Kediri city. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Miftah and I will be your host for today's workshop. For your information, 2 weeks ago, we had our first workshop with the topic presenting new target language. And after the workshop, there was an independent study for the tutors, observing 2 teaching videos, and they need to describe what they have observed, what teaching method the teacher applied, and what they can do better if they were given a chance to teach similar classes as shown in the video. And it was really amazing. And the topic for today's workshop is the thinking classroom, student-centered learning. Before we begin the session, I'd like to remind everyone to turn the camera whenever possible and turn the microphone off if you're not talking. We'll have an interaction session. So if you have any questions or comment, please don't hesitate to put your question or comment on the chat box. And or you can raise your hand, and we ask you to speak. Also, you can stream our workshop today on our YouTube channel, English Massive Kediri. All right. I'll now hand it over to Miss Yannik to start the workshop session. Over to you, Miss Yannik.
Okay, good morning. Thank you, Miss Mifta, once again. Thank you. And good morning, everyone. It's great to see you again. And today is our second session for the virtual session. And the topic of the day is very interesting, is thinking classroom. So I will share my screen first. The topic of the day is very interesting.
Itu makan pun enggak, makanya jarang itu September itu menaruh jemaatan gitu.
Makanya kalau misalnya dengan anak makam itu mati, makam itu itu makanya mati sih juga. Oke.
Okay, so today, as you may see already, have you seen the screen? Everyone can see the screen?
Yes, we can see it clearly.
So the title is quite simple, but then actually we are wondering why we have this kind of topic, because sometimes when we are teaching in the classroom, we are thinking that, do the student really think? Do they really activate their brain when they are learning with you or with us? Or are they just following whatever I say as a teacher or what? So that's the thing, the reason why we are choosing this. And this is like quite becoming a hot topic lately in the school community, that we are now thinking, of course, everyone, when they come to the classroom, they think, of course, but how they think is something different, okay? So the thinking classroom will be focusing on student-centered learning in this case. Give me a second. I think I got trouble. Okay, so this is our topic for today. We are going to talk about the general explanation behind what is thinking classroom. And the second, what is student-centered learning? I think everyone is familiar with it. So we are going to refresh our understanding towards this issue. And number three is very important in thinking classroom, is the student's voice and teachers' roles. Number four will be how we are going to make it happen, the thinking classroom is through questioning techniques. And number five is the 3 levels of questioning. And number 6, we are going to dig into several varieties of student-centered activities. And then we are going to watch a video about 3 activities that make thinking feasible. So you can see the thinking, because usually when you students think or you think, like now you are in Kediri, I'm in Jakarta, I cannot see what you are doing, right? I mean, I cannot see what's going on in your brain. So these 3 activities will be able to see how to make the thinking feasible, because thinking happens in their brain, but then through some activities you can see that the thinking can be also feasible. And then we're going to have Q&A before we end the session. Hopefully we can end maximum at 11 today. If we can end earlier, that's totally fine. So, but then the maximum time for our workshop today will be at 11. Okay, so I will give you a chance to read first for 1 or 2 minutes so that we are all on the same page. And after that, I will ask several participants to get their understanding about what is a thinking classroom. So let's read the definition first. Okay, Let's hear from one of the participants, Miss Rizka Nurbeti. After reading the definition of a thinking classroom, what is the highlight that you found out from the definition, Miss Rizka? Yes. Can you be a bit louder?
Hello.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Can you repeat, please, Miss? I'm sorry. I can hear your voice.
Yeah, I can hear you. Do you want me to repeat the question, Miss Rizka?
Yes.
Okay, Miss Rizka, you have read the definition of one of the definitions of a thinking classroom. So from the definition that you have read on the screen, what are the highlights or the keywords that you think is very important related to thinking classroom? What are they, Miss Rizka?
Okay, I think the important for a thinking classroom is the perspective of the person in the classroom. It is how to participant in the classroom, like the student and the teacher, give.
Yes. Miss Rizka, are you still there?
Hello.
Yes, Miss Rizka, can you please repeat the last part because we missed that.
Meliana hadir adikku.
Yes, Miss Rizka, please continue. Sorry for the interruption. It's good for intermezzo, right, participants? Yes. Please, Miss Rizka, sorry for the interruption. Yes.
Please unmute, Miss.
I think we are. Miss Rizka?
Yes, I think the most important for thinking classroom progress is the individual in the sorry, not individual, but the person in the classroom is example for the teacher and the student for the active classroom, I think.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Rizka. Okay, let's find a male participant. Okay. Bapak Hari Anggara Kusuma, maybe you can share your thoughts or opinions toward the definition. You can unmute first. You're still muted, Bapak. Bapak Hari, you need to unmute yourself first.
I'm sorry.
Sure, Bapak. Take your time.
Yes. Okay. I think a classroom, student work daily with different group of students in the class. On vertical surface of a blackboard and whiteboard. According to that, these two concept have a revolutionary tools to the both the way she teaches and the way student in the class learn. No, in the classroom and out classroom.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Step by step, a little English.
No problem.
Fine.
Take your time. Take your time. Bapak, do you think your class is a thinking classroom?
Yes.
Why do you think your class is a thinking classroom?
What do you think? I'm classroom. What and here, not here. Please, you replay, not here.
Oh, Bapak is talking to someone else. Okay. Yes, Bapak.
Yes, I think classroom. Student work and daily with different group. One person student, yeah. One day and the day. I difficult learning from one by but step by step in speaking English. Because one student she won by my student is speak English every day.
Oh.
Yeah. That I teacher give him one by one up to classroom speak English every day. By canteen in the speaking I'm sorry.
So they use English both in the classroom and outside the classroom. Is that what you are about to say? Okay. Well, that's very good.
Every day is speaking English. 1 minute, 1 hours. Real time with speak English. Istilah wajib ya bahasa Inggris.
Oh, that's very good, Bapak.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to student speak English every time, in home, in classroom, in our class. I want to rangkai-rangkainya sebentar kata-katanya.
You can use bahasa then if you really need to.
Jadi istilahnya anaknya biar tiap hari kita wajibkan bahasa Inggris, jadi speakingnya gitu, Pak. Intinya seperti itu. Jadi di kelas dia tidak hanya kelas not speak Indonesian.
Oh, that's very nice. They speak English all the time. So,
yes.
Wow, that's good, Bapak.
Please study little, masih sedikit. Jadi kita wajibkan.
Small steps will lead to big steps. Okay, if you don't start with small steps, you're not going to go to big steps. So you are doing a great job. So.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No problem, Bapak. Thank you for sharing your.
Thank you too.
Thank you, Bapak. Wow, that's very nice. From Miss Rizka and also Mr. Hari, like this is the thing that now when this topic is coming out to the surface, I was like thinking, oh, now I'm even thinking, why do we have to have a singing classroom? Should all the students sing in the classroom? That's a question, right? But the question is not, we are sure that every kid, every student that we are teaching, including the teacher, everyone is thinking in the classroom. But then the big question is how they think. Are they going to think just excuse me? Okay, so this is the highlight of this definition that I think is very beautiful, that you can see that a thinking classroom, every class is a thinking classroom. Okay, so we have to be on the same page on this thing. Every class is a thinking classroom. Human is thinking, but then the thinking classroom that we are going to discuss is more into activate the critical thinking and creative thinking. Okay, but then every classroom, it is confirmed that every classroom is thinking. Even sometimes when you are sleeping, you are thinking, right? So a thinking classroom in this space that we are talking about is a classroom that is not only conducive. So that's the case, conducive to thinking, meaning the thinking, the creative thinking and critical thinking is happening from time to time. Okay, that's the meaning of conducive. But then also occasion thinking. So sometimes teacher, you have teaching moments. What is teaching moments? Sometimes you have a plan of teaching simple present tense, but then your student is coming up with a different issue or different topic. And there is a moment that you can highlight some activities or you can explain about it. And then that's the thing that we call as occasion thinking. So the teaching moments will usually embrace this occasion thinking. So, of course, thinking is happen through individuals, one by one, as student and also the teacher, but then also how they work in a pair, how they work in a big group, how they work in small group, and then how are they going to deliver their ideas so that their thinking will be feasible, will be heard by other people, including the teacher. So now, if you are listening to, or somebody said, is your class is a thinking classroom? Of course. Every class is a thinking classroom. whenever you go, it's a thinking process happening. But the question that we are talking about is not just thinking, but then how the students can think creatively and critically. That's the case, okay? And that's the thing that we all need to always think when we are teaching, or today, do they only memorize things? Today, do the students only repeat what I say? Or they can think critically, they can come up with ideas, or they can be creative. It depends on how we are going to set the classroom or to prepare our lesson, okay? Let's move on to the next slide. Let's see, I think I need this slide. Okay, let's read this together. In a thinking classroom, students put notebooks away. Wow, so this is the definition of thinking classroom. And participate in group work while standing at vertical or non-permanent surfaces, such as whiteboards, blackboards, or windows. So in this definition of thinking classroom, another way of thinking classroom, usually students will not stay on their table and chair, but they're going to work whether in small groups or big groups. They're going to stand, because there is a theory that when you are standing, you will think better. Have you ever watched anyone watch Korean drama over here? Maybe the ladies over here.
Of course.
Miss Amalina, do you watch Korean drama?
Yes.
In one of the Korean dramas, I forgot. It's all about the startup. I think it's all about the startup. They have in their office, they have a table that they can push, and then the table will be on your height, and then you can stand and you can work. So that's the thing, because there's a theory that states that when you are standing, you think better. So that also in some schools, when I found the picture, I will send it to the admin later on, and they maybe can share with you the video. So you will see, oh, what it means. Yes, students to stand. So students stand. In some schools, their tables, there's a setup that they can push, so the table will go up and student can stand and write. So students, because they believe that students, sometimes they need to stand up because standing makes thinking better. That's why in this thinking classroom, in this viewpoint, that a student will think better if they are not being chained or being limited by notebooks, by table, by other things, but then they think, so they can think more freely. Later on, I will send you a picture of a table that they can push, and it's going to go up so that you can see, and the reason why students can think better when they stand. That's why if you have a class that keep on sitting down all the time, can you imagine how crowded is that in their brain, and it's not going to activate their brain or their thinking. Okay. Okay, I think everyone is familiar with student-centered learning, right? Maybe we can take time to read first, and then I will pick 2 or 3 participants to share what they understand from the student-centered learning. Okay, you can see the keywords of creating connections. Student-centered learning is creating connections, and then interests and things that they learn at school, and then process of learning more meaningful to the students. Then I would like to know what meaningful means for you, and then that's the way. The way to make it happen is framing the lessons in terms of their interests, so that they can get engaged more in the material, and therefore they learn better. So I would like to ask several participants over here. I believe you are familiar, very familiar with this one. Miss Sania. Miss Sania, are you there?
Yeah, sure.
Yes,
Okay.
Miss Sania. What's your viewpoint about this student-centered learning, Miss Sania? Have you ever heard about it, or you yourself have implemented this one?
Yes, I consider the student-centered learning is the responsibility of the participants or the student itself being learning in their class. So they involve and participate in their classroom. So that's why they are able to what is that? To know the goals or the purpose about what the lesson or the material that they have learned in the class. So I think it's about their responsibility in learning in their classroom.
Okay, that's good. And then if the student is very responsible in the classroom, how we can make it happen? Like as a teacher, what is your role there, Miss Sania?
I think us become the teachers becomes the facilitator and also the resources person to the students, I think.
Okay, Miss Sania, how many years have you been teaching?
I have been teaching in English Massive since 2017, so I guess it's around 6 years.
Oh, okay. Can you tell us or share with us the range of the age of your students, Miss Sania?
Most of my classes are young learners, around 4 to 6 grades. I think I would guess they are in 9 to 11 grade.
Oh, okay.
9 to 11 years old, I mean. Yeah.
9 to 11, so they are in the upper primary. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you, when you are teaching something, a concept or something new, do you connect to their interest or you connect to your own interest, or how? Do you know what is so happening or hype in their classroom at the moment, Miss Sania?
Yes. Usually when I start learning, I ask them by about the recent issues or something happenings that they are interested to. So I would guess it's some things to trigger their interest or to activate their learning or their studying in the class. So perhaps it would make them not to what is it? Yeah, just to make or build interaction in the class.
Okay. May I know what is your biggest interest now, Miss Tania, as a individual? What is your biggest interest, like music or movies? What you really like at the moment?
I think I would say it maybe music.
What music do you like at the moment?
Just English pop song.
Okay. What about your students? What kind of music do you like to listen to?
I asked them about the music they love or they usually listen to, or they sometimes answer dangdut.
Oh, really?
Because they usually listen to some songs from TikTok that they usually song that dangdut.
Okay, okay. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, that's interesting. Oh,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like me, I really love the Beatles. I love the Beatles so much. But then I cannot bring the Beatles to the classroom, just bring it. Because the kids now, like, have you ever heard the K-pop band called New Jeans?
I'm sorry.
It's very popular. They love to sing the song. And the thing is, I know their interests. I know what they like. So I have to come to their world. I cannot force them to like the Beatles like the way I do, because the Beatles is in a different era, though maybe they don't know what I'm talking about. I got and thank you, Miss Sania, for sharing your thoughts. The thing is, one day I observed a class. The teacher is from UK and very experienced teachers. Very experienced. As students are very excited to meet this teacher, but then after the teacher sing a song that I really love, but the kids, they don't know and they don't even know the song. The title is Jude from the Beatles, and then the teacher was singing the song to 5 or 6 years old students, and they were like just blank, and then they didn't get connected. So that's what I'm trying to say about creating connection with the students, because maybe we have to come to their world to minimize the gap. Okay, as teachers, we are getting older while our students are staying younger, because if you are teaching primary 1 all the time, they are going to be 6 to 7, but you are growing old, right, with your own interest. But the kids have their own interest, but you like it or not, to make sure that there is engagement, you have to come to their world. So teachers, you need to find out what is So you can do a little survey. Usually that's what I do in my classroom. I do what is your favorite music, what is your hobby and everything. And then I get to know the students and I get to know what they like. And then I bring sometimes the nuance of those interests to the classroom. And magically, the classroom is becoming more lively and students getting more engaged. Because I cannot force the students to love the Beatles like the way I do, or I love other Britpop music. Because that's not their era, okay? So that's the thing. Sometimes before we start with student-centered, we have to get to know our students first. First, know their interests. You have to know what they are talking about, what is so hype for them. And then you can learn from this kind of things so that when you teach or you talk to them, you can get connected to them. Otherwise, the gap, it will be very wide and students will feel like my teachers, they do not know me. They just do whatever they like. I do whatever I like. This one, sometimes classroom is disconnected. So in student-centered learning, the key is connection. That's why we have to get to know our students, okay? And then, because when they are so into your lesson, they will engage more and participate better and they learn better, right? So that's about student-centered learning. Let me see the next one, okay? Okay. So after we are discussing, and then Miss Sania also shared about her own experience and thoughts about student-centered learning, let's talk about the student's voice. So we are coming up to the center of our attentions, the students. And also the teacher's roles, because classroom is not going to happen without the student's voice and the teacher's roles. Please take a moment to read, okay?
Yeah, thank you for coming. Okay.
Okay, let's find a male participant at this time, okay? If I'm not mistaken, let me see. Barika Rizkuna, is there Miss or Mr.?
Hello, yes.
Yeah, oh, I'm correct. Okay. So thank you for responding, Bapak. So, Bapak, do you have any thoughts about, you have read, right, about the definition of student voice? What do you have in mind about this definition? Or do you have your own definition of student voice?
I agree with this definition, ma'am, actually, because as we know, the students actually have their own interests and they also have their own life. And yeah, everything is just about their interests actually when they are in school.
Okay, so how are you going to make sure, or maybe what have you done in order to make sure the students take their ownership of their learning and they're able to express their opinions rather than just listening to the teacher? What about in your own experience, Bapak Barika?
Because I teach some of the elementary students, and sometimes I ask them what are they really in recently, and they said some of the dance from the TikTok and some of the music, some of the what was it? Was it language? Modern language or slang from the TikTok, and I use that to get their attention sometimes. Like when we are having a very noisy class, I will use the voice from the SpongeBob, like, "Are you ready, kids?" And they will answer, "Aye, captains," because all the students know about SpongeBob. And sometimes I just use like QQ, and then the students will answering that. But this is really difficult actually, because their interest is very, very unpredictable.
Hmm.
And as the tutor, sometimes I also find a difficulty on how can I bring their interest to the classroom and relate with the class material. So sometimes I'm just discussing with them what you want to do, and yeah, we are we I really often to discuss with my students to do like, okay, what will we do after this, and then do you have any games or any activity that you want to play? Let me guide, or let me arrange the activity if you want to play something.
Hmm.
Okay, I think that's all, ma'am.
That's good. You give them the freedom to choose an activity, and then you try your best to accommodate their interest, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's very nice, Bapak. Thank you, Pak Barika.
Okay,
So
my
teachers,
pleasure.
that Pak Barika was mentioning about one thing that is related to occasions thinking, something that you don't predict as a teacher. You don't predict. You don't predict their response like that. Oh my God, how can I respond? How can I use this to the learning? How can I digest everything? So that's the thing that I think is quite interesting. We are going, give me a moment, okay? Wait. Give me 1 minute, okay?
Well, Bapak Ibu, while waiting for Miss Yannik, you can read the material that she shared. And if you have any question, please don't hesitate to put your comments or question on the chat box. Thank you.
Okay, sorry for the interruption. Thank you for waiting. I'm back. So we are going to continue our topic on student voice and teachers' roles. Now, I would like everyone to recall their memories or their moments of teaching. When you are teaching, you try to recall whether you are the one who dominate the classroom, your voice, or your student's voice. But then voice can be two things, okay? Whether it's noise, like students being noisy and they're clueless, or the voice of them responding to the lessons that you are preparing, or they are doing discussion or what. So there are two things of voice. There will be the noise or the meaningful noise, okay? So what we are talking about here is not the noise, whether they are being noisy, being clueless, or what they are doing, but then the voice, they are related to the topic that discussed, related to the lesson, and then most of the voice that they are making is because of your learning preparation, that you design your lesson in such a way so that they can express themselves, or you are as a teacher who dominate the learning for 1 hour or 45 minutes, you keep on talking, or both of you with students and teachers are silent when somebody's copying the work, or what is it like? Okay, before we move on to the teacher's roles, because student voice can be a bit tricky. Okay, I would like to hear some comments from the participant. Okay, let's see. Ibu Siti Kalima, can you hear me, Ibu?
Yes, Miss.
Ibu, how many years have you been teaching, Ibu, in your life?
Okay, wait, I'm gonna turn on my camera. Well, actually, I already have an experience when I teach in a school. It has been 2 years, and then after that, because I resigned and then I work in English Massive, it has been also two years, I think.
So about 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years.
Teaching practice. Okay, Ibu. Now I would like you to recall your moments of teaching, whether your classroom is dominated by the voice of your students, the voice meaning the expression, their thoughts, their discussion, their response, not the noisy class, but also, or is it dominated by your own voice, or is very calm? Or what is it like, Ibu Kalima, in your class?
So it was my experience as well, whether in school or in English Massive class. So I'm gonna put it in the practice only when for example, when I teach the topic about fruit. So before, I'm gonna call them using, I'm gonna make them focus by asking their interest, or I mean their favorite fruit. So before I share the kinds of fruit, so I'm gonna ask them their favorite fruit first. So when they already focus, so after that, I'm gonna write the kinds of fruit like that. So yes, of course, the voice is already divided into my voice and also their voice. So we are, and then we can make it like a balance, so I can focus on them and also they can focus on me.
Okay, that's very good. So that you plan in a way so that they can have the chance to express their knowledge, or they can respond to your topic in a way, right? Have you ever experienced that the students give you a response that is out of the box, out of your predictions? Have you ever, Ibu?
Yes, of course.
And how was it, Ibu?
You know, students has their own uniques, and they are really unique. Sometimes when I ask their favorite fruit, actually, so perhaps the answer is because it was sweet, or maybe it was also my mother's favorite, or what. So they answer, or he or she answer it by, because I like the color, because I just like the color, so that why I also like to eat that. So yes, it was unique, I think.
Okay. So that's the thing, teachers, when you let the students or you give a chance for the students to express their ideas freely in a way, you just give them like a hint of question instead of yes, no question, but then you give them freedom to choose opinions or responses. Sometimes there will be unpredictable responses that can turn to you that you need to lead in. For example, it's out of the topic, you can lead in a little bit in a nice way so that the student will not feel like, oh, I'm saying something wrong or what. Or you can use that as a teaching moment, because sometimes the unpredictable or occasions thinking happen and teachers usually just ignore it, because sometimes when you have, for example, like what Ibu Karima said, I'm expecting the answer should be sweet, nice, fresh, but then somebody said, oh, I love the color, right? Oh, that's not in my topic. Oh, just ignore. Okay, next one. Sometimes teachers do that. But that's the thing. There's a teaching moment, right? You see, oh, this is still connected because color is connected to the fruit also, right? But then it's not your expectation. And then you can ask, oh, okay, what do you like about the color? Oh, yeah, because it's red. Oh, okay. What about the taste? You can do the leading. If you really need to know about the taste, if that's your target. But then also, you can also add that thing, the occasion thinking that way we call something which is not predictable, and you can use it and highlight that in the lesson. Okay, you like red. Okay, can you all sing about another color, another fruits that colored red? So they come up with different things. So it depends on you, which is that's very interesting, right? We give them the freedom to respond, and sometimes, oh my goodness, it's not in my plan. But then because sometimes we have to acknowledge this, because in order to respond, feeling secure to respond in an English class or foreign language class, it's not something easy. So if they're coming up with something which is maybe not as expected, or something that you think, oh, this is out of topic, you can always respond, and you can also lead it. If you think about the taste, oh, that's good, you like the color red. Oh, what about the taste? So they can come up, or you can, oh, if the answer of color red is, oh, that's something interesting, I want to talk about it as occasion thinking, then you can discuss further. Okay, thank you very much, Ibu Karima.
Yes, my pleasure, Miss Yannik.
Okay, now we are talking about the teacher's roles. After we are talking about the student's voice, the teacher's roles. I think everyone is familiar with Curriculum Merdeka, right? In Curriculum Merdeka, thinking classroom is the highlight. That's why there's project, there's discussion, there is video response, there is no such like even some they change the way you question the students, giving questions to the students, because they want to make sure that the students are thinking. Okay, that's, I think, the highlight of Merdeka Belajar. Students get the freedom to think, express themselves. Okay, so this is really connected to Merdeka Belajar actually. But then Merdeka doesn't mean, or freedom doesn't mean they do whatever they want. Okay, I come to the classroom, you enjoy your time, I just see. No, facilitator is the hardest job to do, because you need to plan, right? You need to plan in a way so that the students will have that learning happens in the classroom. They think as expected, you meet the goals. Once again, always see the goals of your lesson. You have to think how I can manage the class that students, okay, the students can think, can express themselves, can also learn, and I can see how they think. Later on, you will see the thinking, how to make the thinking feasible. Okay, of course, the teacher's roles is very important. In Merdeka Belajar, preparation is harder, Bapak Ibu. You are teaching with minimum teacher voice. I mean, you don't talk too much, but then you plan in a way that the student take the active participant. In order for them to be active, they need the teacher. So the teachers is behind the scene of everything. You do the comprehensive preparation before the lesson. Of course, I believe all teachers here, you are the key source of knowledge. Okay, so me myself, I've been teaching for about 20 years. Before I teach, every time before I teach, before I give workshop, I practice. I don't know how you do it, but then for me, I practice. I review what I'm talking about. I see what I'm going to say. So because I want to make sure I can be the good key source of knowledge. Okay, I think the job which is very, I mean, very big responsibility. You know what? As a teacher, we have our own undang-undang to protect us, like doctors, not the other undang-undang guru, undang-undang dokter. Because in a way, we are, as a teacher, we are vulnerable to many problems in a way, because when you transfer the wrong knowledge, because students trust you very much, and then you are the key source of knowledge. If you don't update yourself, you don't try to review your lessons, you just, oh, okay, I've been teaching simple present tense for 20 years. I don't have to review, because you don't care whether my students is changing now. Your students in 20 years back then is different from your students at the moment. It's useless if you use the same lesson plan from the 20 years. Yes, you can use the knowledge, but not the lesson plan. That's the key. So the roles is that teachers is the key source of knowledge, but then you are not the only one. You are the key, but you are not the only one source of knowledge, because students, they are also the sources of knowledge, okay? And you are the mentor. That's the thing, like when they do project and everything, they do project, they do group work, you play your role as facilitator, mentors, and guide. You guide them. Instead of giving them answer, like what Ibu Kalima has shared, she wanted the student to answer with sweet, fresh, or nice. But then instead of answering with those options, the student said, oh, I love the color. You have to be able to guide them. Oh, you like the color? If you don't guide them, oh, you are wrong. I don't talk about the color. I talk about the taste. You just cut them. In that moment, they will get, oh God, I'm wrong. I'm not going to say anymore. Remember, English is foreign language. That's why they need the confidence, not just English, any subjects. When the students are saying something, they put their confidence into a practice, actually, into a battle. That's why you have to be able to be the good, very good. Teachers is the core of everything. We are the ones who can create doctors, entrepreneurs, businessmen, whoever, right? Because we are playing the role in educating people, right? So that in order to be able to be the good or the great key source of knowledge, you have to always upgrade yourself and learn from different sources. But then you are not the only one that become the source of knowledge, because students, because they have the voice, also they have the brain, because your class is a thinking classroom, you have sources of knowledge, because students in your classroom, they are also the sources of knowledge, okay? But then the one who's going to mentor, to guide, to give guidance, to let them know when they are going out of the topic, to bring them back, to lead them back to the right path, is the roles of the teachers. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay. Now we are talking about questioning techniques. That's why I think you are familiar why we are changing our curriculum. Now, curriculum Merdeka is not going to happen. It's not going to be the curriculum that give the freedom for the students to think critically and creatively if we don't have these questioning techniques. Because if we don't have that way of questioning, students will always respond like a robot, the same thing, okay? If you, for example, simple one, if you ask them, do you like music, for example, right? Do you like music? Yes, and then done. If you're done with it, then you stop. But then if you ask, do you like music? Yes. Oh, what kind of music? Oh, I like pop. I love hip hop. I love Korean music. I love Britpop. And then you don't stop from there. Oh, really? Who are your favorite musicians? And then you can ask again, why? And then it's never ending, right? You have open-ended questions from only about the topic, do you like music? But if you stop from, do you like music? Yes, I do. Everyone repeat, yes, I do. So they just come up with, do you like music? Yes, I do. But then because we don't guide them, we don't mentor them to go further, okay? So the first thing is open-ended questions, the why, how, oh, really? Do you have any opinion about it? What do you think? So those kind of things, right? And then closed questions, of course, sometimes there is yes or no question. And of course, you can give them choices, because closed questions will be very limited in terms of response. Or probing questions, their final question, their leading question. Leading question, something like what Ibu Camila and I talk about, and students are like going somewhere, but then I think that's not as expected. That's why we have that how to lead the students into the right directions. Or if you would like to, like, sometimes, like I said, open-ended and closed questions, we know all those things, right? Open-ended always with how, when, why, and then how come, and then what if, okay? And then closed is all about yes, no, and what, where, okay? Very simple and very factual. That's the closed questions. And sometimes we end up in the closed questions. But then probing, if like asking for details, if they are, oh yeah, I love red. Oh, why do you like it? What kind of red? There are different shades of red. Which kind of red do you like? And then do you collect any things in red or something? So you probe, you asking for details. Probing questions is asking for details. So it's like you can start with closed questions and then you continue with open-ended, and then you can also implement the probing question. You are asking for details. And then the final questions is that you are asking something general and then you go more specific, okay? Something general and everyone answer, and then somebody go to more specific questions or things that you would like to know from the kids. And then you have leading question. Like for example, you know that this is the case in Jakarta. I don't know in Kediri, but Jakarta's air lately is very bad. I can see things that I usually can see. So usually from my place, I can see the view of the mountain. Lately, I cannot see. It's only foggy. It's only like light gray. So usually I bring this topic, just leading in questions, meaning you bring an issue in order for them to reflect, to think, to recall, and then to respond. So there are a lot of questions that we have, questioning techniques. With these techniques, then you can have the thinking classroom as it is expected. Now, so we come up with this one. Why questioning matters? For me, I'm the believer of questioning, because when everyone is born as a child, have you ever like meeting a little child who never stop asking? Like they're asking for details, usually probing questions. They're asking, mommy, why the sky is blue? Mommy, why do we have this? Mommy, why we have this? Why we need to stop? Never ending questions. So that actually questioning skill actually is in this every child. It's within every child. But sometimes whether it's at home with the parents or at school, because probing questions or asking for details is very annoying, right? Then you say, shh, stop it. Don't disturb me. I'm still driving, for example, when you are in a car, or maybe you are busy checking your WhatsApp from the school, and then your child, mommy, do you know what? And then they're asking, and then suddenly you just kill their curiosity. Okay, because I believe every child, most of the child that I know, they have a lot of curiosity. They want to know many things, but sometimes as adults, me myself, usually sometimes because I consider them annoying, so I stop them. So we kill. Usually, it can be the teacher, can be the parents, can be the adults, the ones who are killing their curiosity, their creative and critical thinking. Okay, so that we have to make sure when we are teachers, this is our responsibility. Yes, Pa? Okay, so questioning matters because it stimulates discussions. Without questioning, there will be no discussion. There will be no responses, because discussion and critical thinking will happen with good questioning, and then you will know how they think from their response. Oh, maybe because they get confused when they respond, you know that, oh, okay, they get confused, or they don't understand this method, or they could maybe they never heard about it. So those responses will make their thinking feasible, because they are going to express what they have in mind. Okay. So there are 3 levels of questioning. I believe every teacher has implemented this, but then where are you? Okay. Are you doing the level 1, factual, only asking what, and then where, close question, and then inferential, you want to them to get connected. They want to connect one or two things. On universal, when they see something bigger in picture general and then go to specific. So which kind of questionings that you have implemented, that's the thing that you have to find out. Okay. And then never stop with only the level 1 and factual, meaning if you're only concentrating your questions only for the factual, because this is right or wrong, easily checked, then the thinking is not being maximized. Yes, they're saying, but not being maximized. Okay, I think I received these responses from some of the teachers that joined the independent study. They mentioned the gallery walk, they mentioned jigsaw reading, debate, round robin discussion, role play. There are some of the examples of student-centered learning. Seems like the teachers do nothing, but actually teachers prepare a lot. And what you need to do when they do this kind of activity, you cannot sit down in your chair and enjoy the moment. No, you cannot. Okay. When this is student-centered activity, a thinking classroom teaches to be mobile, to move around and check. When they do the thinking discussion, you listen, you pay attention, and then you take note. Sometimes what I do, I take note. Oh, I found something interesting from the discussion, or oh, somebody got confused in this topic. So teachers should work as the facilitator, meaning you move around. So if there is a thinking saying that in Merdeka Belajar or in student center, teacher is only like talking. Teacher is the one who is enjoying their moment and enjoy their time when students are being busy. That's wrong. Okay. Teacher also doing the thinking, meaning you observe your kids when they are doing this discussion, they are doing the pair work, they are doing the activity, and then you take note. Okay. That's the thing that we have to change the mindset that, oh, Merdeka Belajar or student active learning or active learning is all teachers to relax. They just not, because after the jigsaw reading and then you ask them to write essay, for example, you have to check, you have to see. So there are a lot of things to do, but they're not in a conventional way. Okay. So if there's someone thinking that you can relax and enjoy the moment when you are teaching student-centered class, maybe your student-centered class is misleading. You need to review again and think, because in student-centered class, you cannot stop. You have to move around, you have to observe, okay? Maybe any one of you have ever implemented one of the student activities here mentioned, student-centered? Let me see. Yes, but who would like to share their thoughts maybe about this?
Okay, can I talk something?
Sure. What is your name, Bapak?
Ajang Supriyono, Miss.
Oh yeah, Bapak Ajang. Please, Bapak. What have you tried in your classroom, Bapak, and how was it?
Okay, I want to make some debate or discuss about current issues. Okay. Maybe the example in young agile level, I usually bring the topic like, okay, what is your opinion if the government dismiss TikTok shop? Okay, that is. And then another topic is, what is your opinion if cigarette company is dismissed by the government? Also, your family works there. Okay. Seperti itu. Okay,
that's
sorry.
very nice. Okay, so how are they managing the class, Pak Ajang? Do you just enjoy the moment they talk and then you just enjoy, relax, or actually, what do you do when they are doing the debate or the discussion?
Of course, I usually ask them, do you know cigarette? Like intermezzo. Okay. Is it dangerous for your health? Like some of question that I ask.
Okay. During the activities, when the students are into the activities of the discussion, what do you do, Bapak Ajang, usually?
Pardon, Miss. Sorry, I'm not focusing.
You are giving them questions, right? You need cigarette, and then blah, blah, blah. And then you come up with, what do you think if the cigarette company is being closed by the government? And then they're doing discussion, right? When you're doing discussion, what do you do?
Okay, I try to be a facilitator, and when they get stuck and they can't speak up, okay, I try to give some statement. Okay, if you do not know what I mean, of course, you, if you having a child, will you be a smoker? When they answer, okay, no, I will not smoke, Mister. Okay, why? And then when they answer, okay, it's not good for our health. And then, okay, so if you are a society and also citizen, okay, what is your opinion if the government dismiss cigarette company? Okay, also your family work there. So give me the reason. If you agree, what is your reason? If you disagree, what is your reason? That's
Very good, very good. And that's the thing actually when Pak Ajang has mentioned earlier, he started with the closed question actually, little by little to probing, and then to more open-ended, or you are asking for details, right? So you do it in a step-by-step. And then, like he mentioned, when doing the discussion, sometimes they got confused. You have to, if you don't move around, you don't know, right? If you just enjoy your moment, checking your WhatsApp in your on your teacher's desk, you won't understand. But then if you move around, I mean, doing student-centered activities is really a cardio for every teacher. And thank you for sharing that experience, Pak Ajang. Okay, Miss Leah, I think you raised your hand. Miss Leah, would you like to share something?
Yes. So I have tried the jigsaw reading and also role play in my classroom, and I tried it in my young learners. So for the jigsaw, simple goals, because in my class there are some of the students who still have struggle in writing and reading also. So that is only the simple activity. So I ask them and I divide them into some groups. Then for each group, I give the number for them. Then they move to the place with the number, and the first time they should read and they write about the text.
Okay.
And I ask them to read.
Okay. When they are doing the jigsaw reading is very interesting. When they do the activity, it's for some people, it's like, oh God, the class is so noisy because students are standing, they're standing, right? They're moving around. There's a purpose why actually. So they're standing because they refresh their mind, because they can think better. They see different group, right? They move to different groups. When they do those activities, how do you monitor the learning?
So I move from one group to the another group. So I keep moving. So I divide the point of the reading into 5, and
so you move around.
Yeah, move around, and then I ask them any difficulties or something like that, and some of them say that I cannot see the text, miss, because it is too small or something like that. So I will help them. I will help them to read aloud, and after that I move to the other group. So I keep moving during the activity, especially when I get the group that consists of the small students. So I give more time for them, because that is the main point of this activity, to encourage them to write effectively. I mean, to write fastly, because they're still low in writing. And after that they already write.
Good. That's very good. So it shows that when it is student-centered learning, if it is a thinking classroom, I think it's not possible for the teacher to enjoy their time, because you let the students to interact, and of course there are a lot of possibilities happen. So if somebody's saying that, oh, the new kind of learning is so relaxing, I can just sit down and students do their work, meaning you don't do your part, okay? So if you yourself or you think that, oh, I think I enjoy my student-centered learning, like I relax so much, meaning you need to reflect and recall whether you do the proper facilitation for the students during the learning. And there is a little note for this thing, because sometimes as a teacher, when you see that they are confused, you cannot hold yourself not to tell them what is right, okay? So I learned something, because sometimes when you keep on telling them what is right or wrong, when they are still in the process of thinking, you cut the process of thinking. So maybe once in a while, you let them get confused, but then you take note. Okay, for example, also in the jigsaw reading, when you know, oh, the text is too small, then you help. And then you take a little note, oh, for the next time, for the jigsaw reading, the text should be bigger so that the issue will not be repeated, which is very good. And you will never know if you are not moving around, okay? So I think we are almost coming to the ending. After this, we are going to watch a video. Let me see. Okay, I tried to play the video. Miss Mifta, if it doesn't work, I might need your help to play the video from your end, okay? But I'll try to play first.
Okay, Miss.
Is it working? Let me see. Is it working? Let me see if I can paste that one here. No. Wait, give me a minute. Okay. Miss Mifta, can you help me to show the video? It doesn't work on my end.
Okay, Miss. Wait, I'll help you from here.
Okay, thank you, Miss Mifta. Should I end the screen first? Sharing the screen? I think it's better to stop. Okay.
It's easy to grade for the right answers, but how do you know when your students are really getting it? It's not always obvious how they arrived at their conclusion, but the right activity can give you a window into your students' brains to see their thinking process and find out what they really know and what needs further reinforcement. Vertical learning is a group activity where students showcase their thinking on a whiteboard, a blackboard, or a window. The vertical surface is key for engagement, and it allows you to follow the process as it happens. Start by providing a rich task, something that does not have only one answer. Divide students into groups of 4 and assign each person a role. The scribe writes what the group is thinking. The speaker represents the group to the whole class. The inquirer is the only one who can ask you questions, and the manager makes sure the group is staying on track. While students work, observe how they collaborate, see whether they are on task, and answer any questions they have. After 20 minutes, have each group present. Because all the work is public, everyone can see each other's process, the choices they made, and how they got there, and mistakes simply become part of the learning. A fishbowl is a powerful collaborative learning activity where a small group of students has a focused discussion while the rest of the class sits around them observing and listening. Students on the outside learn discussion norms and make their own connections, while the inner ring gains a deeper understanding of the topic. You can assess students' grasp on the material by noting what they bring up, what textual evidence they use, and what questions they have for each other. Prepare by asking students to read a few articles or respond to prompts based on your current unit, book, or theme. On the day of the fishbowl, provide questions that students will debate based on their readings, or give students a goal like coming up with an opinion on a controversial topic. By the end of the activity, you should have a clear sense of who gets it and who may need a bit more help. It's particularly tough to get students to explain their thinking in math when temptation is strong to just give the right answer. This activity asks students to justify their choices in using certain mathematical methods. First, students circle the question on a worksheet and write an I have to statement, like I have to find out who made the most points in each round. Then have each student write down the strategy they'll use to solve the problem, like I will use addition or I will multiply. Next, have students solve the problem, then write their answer in a complete sentence. Finally, ask them to write out how they solve the problem using at least 2 math words and make connections to previous math they've learned. Creating a problem-solving plan helps students see the path to their answer and makes their thinking visible right on the paper. All you need to do is pick it up to see their level of understanding and knowledge.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Mifta. Okay, so I think these 3 videos, the 3 ways shown in the video can show us, and then we can learn from the videos that there are many ways to make the thinking feasible, because we have to have ways. Otherwise, you will never know whether they understand, whether they got confused, whether they are really thinking or not. Okay, so let you see, the first one was the vertical learning, vertical thinking. That's what I talked about in one of the slides, that students should stand up, they move around, and there's a reason why, because thinking is better when you stand up. And sometimes, can you imagine, they have to sit down from 7 to 2, 7 to 1, or maybe just 7 to 8 for little kids will be a disaster. So vertical learning can be useful. And usually gallery walk, like one of the participants asked, one of the things that you do with gallery walk is similar to vertical learning. And the second is related to what Pak Ajang has mentioned earlier about the debate. So Pak Ajang, before you start with the debate, you can do the fishbowl discussion in your classroom so that the kids will discuss first, and then they will come up with several alternatives or ideas, and then they can start with the debate. So you can integrate the debate and the fishbowl discussion. And also the last one, problem solving, because sometimes as teachers, we want to fix it as soon as possible. You see somebody is going wrong, you want to fix it. Somebody get confused, you want to fix it. But then problem solving is different. You let them get confused first, because getting confused is a part of learning, getting confused, but not confused all the time, right? That getting confused is a part of learning, but sometimes as a teacher, we tend to stop it, and I just let them know the right one, and they don't care, okay? So that's the thing. There's the 2 things that we can learn from. There are many ways, definitely many ways. Even through questioning, you can see whether their thinking is feasible or not. But then the major thing is that thinking is something which is not feasible actually. And then how do we know that they are thinking in the right direction, or they are meeting the expected goals, right? You have to make sure you have to prepare activities in order for them to express themselves. The goal is not something correct. I got very good statement from one of the participants submitting their work for the independent study. I think it's Miss Sania. Miss Sania mentioned this, and I still remember up to now. I don't remember the exact words, but then she said that I would like to make sure that the classroom is a space for discussion, a space then they are not afraid to make mistakes, a space for discussion instead of perfection. Miss Sania, are you there? Miss Sania? Oh, I think she's not there. She mentioned that, saying that it is related to our thinking classroom discussion, that you have to make sure that in the classroom, you are not expecting perfection. You are not expecting everyone who is responding, who is giving answers, are giving the correct one. But then you provide a space that students they get the confidence. It's okay if I make mistakes, because over here, mistakes is valued as a part of learning. But it doesn't mean that if they are making mistakes, you are not guiding them. Yes, you are guiding them, but then in a way that they don't feel like, oh, I'm doing something wrong. I don't want to say anything anymore. So that, I think the statement from Miss Sania in her essay saying that I want to create a space that students will be open for discussion, and then my goal is not perfection. And I agree with that, saying everyone has their own opinion, but then I think in order to have that thinking classroom, that mindset should be owned by everyone as a teachers. Okay, I think that's the end of our session today. Do you have any questions that you would like to express, or do you have any opinions that you would like to share with us before we end the session? The participants, teachers. Yes, yes, with Miss or Mr. Yuana? Mr. I think, right? Yes, please.
Well, thank you very much for
the
Miss
Yuana. Please, Yuana, would you like to share something with us? Yes.
I just want to give some comments about student-centered learning, and I don't think it's easy for me to conduct the student-centered learning in my UL classroom especially, but it will be very helpful when I teach in young adult. Because of why? This is because I have various students that with their own characteristics, of course, and I have two in a class. I have two very active students, in young learner especially, and when she and he, so they, when they come to my class, they always bring like new thing, but it's something weird, I guess, because of what? Because she she comes to my class and she sometimes draw many stars on her skin. All part of her skin. It's like this. So of course it makes me interested in. So I asked her what happens with you and what you did. And I just like the stars, miss, and I just want to be a star like this. Oh, you do. I just said that because it's weird, but it's very great for me because she has critical thinking when what she wants to be when she is getting older, I guess.
Oh, that's good. That's very good, actually. You are actually, you don't know, right? Actually, why? Like sometimes as a teacher, I was taught by my mentor saying, Yannik, you cannot say weird. You have to say unique. Because unique is more positive in a way. But then, of course, I'm like, my God, a weirdo. Why are you doing that to your skin? For example, you never know, right, Yuana? If you never ask, you will never know, right? But then you take a step of asking so that the thinking is feasible for you, right?
Right.
Because you can say the brain, what is that? You are thinking about drawing a lot of stars, but then one way, a simple way actually, first, teachers, you need to ask why first, so that you see, oh, that's the thinking behind drawing that many stars. And then maybe you can challenge her. If the drawing is quite dangerous, then you need to explain, because some people are getting irritated by the ink of the pen. You need to explain and then channel that energy of the stars maybe to paper, maybe. Or maybe if that's math teacher will love it, because math teacher will ask them to color in a way, and then counting. Math teacher will love it. So there are a lot of things that you can highlight, but I like it. Actually, you said it's quite hard to implement student-centered learning in my class. Started with something small. You don't have to make it gallery walk. It will be a chaos and you, oh my goodness, right? Maybe just pair work, Miss Yuana. Little group pair work. think pair share and ask them to share with their friends next to them. You try a little bit, oh, it doesn't work, so I need to think something else. But then one of the simplest way of doing this thing is that if you have that questioning activities in your class and the student get the chance to respond, you are doing student-centered learning in a way. Right? And then I have a tip because my kids over here, they love to bring things to school also. Maybe you can have school rules in our class. What things that you don't have to bring, if they bring, you keep it. Or maybe, you know what, when they love to bring unique things to class, actually you can do show and tell. Have you ever done it in your class? You can try. They bring their favorite thing. They get turns. For example, this week is A, B, C. Next week is D, E, F. And then they can take turns over there and they share. Oh, okay, this is my koala. I love it. My mom bought this from Australia and then I got it, blah, blah, blah. They show and tell. And then you can ask, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then they can explain. Then student-centered learning is happening. And their interest of bringing the weird things to school is being channeled in a positive way. Maybe you can try, Miss Yuana, do the show and tell, but then you have to give schedule. Because otherwise everyone will be busy with their plushies and their toys in the classroom. Okay, good luck with your young learners, okay? Because whenever I was teaching, I'm teaching primary one after this, primary one or kindergarten, it's like cardio. Do you feel like you do cardio when you are teaching them? A lot of energy should be used. I think, yeah. So Miss Yuana, be proud of yourself because sometimes people think, oh, you are only teaching kindergarten, easy peasy. No, that's the hardest one. Ask the teachers in the upper primary to teach primary one or kindergarten and they will fail. Okay, thank you, Miss Yuana, for sharing. Okay, anyone else would like to share ideas or opinion or stories before we end the session? Oh, I don't think there is additional inquiry for. Let me check the chat first. Okay, I think that's the end. Yes, hello.
I'm sorry, I would like to ask a question, but let me move to quiet place first.
Oh, okay, sure. Let's give time for one of the participants to find a quiet place. Yes, Ibu.
Okay, it's quieter now. First, I would like to ask, in my young adult class, wait, let me catch my breath.
Relax. Maybe you need to say, provide us with the age, okay, Ibu? The age of your young adult.
Teenage age, young adult.
Okay.
These days, my participants, they like to have some small discussion, like combination between debating and discussing. So here, I only provide them the topic. For the example, what do you think about your full day school time? Something like that. Then, wait.
It's okay.
But before they talk about their opinion, I ask them to write in a piece of paper 5 words.
Okay.
Okay, and then after they write it down, I want them to talk using them when they have turn to talk. And sometimes they will out of topic and talk another thing. I mean, they are not talking about the school anymore, just their friends, just their daily routine at home, like that. And then even game too. So do you think that it's okay they out of the topic that I give them, so they can only talk and speak in English? Do you think it's okay, or should I guide them again to the topic that I share?
They are talking about something out of the topic. Is that really out of the topic, or they are doing something else, Ibu, while during discussion?
They just talk out of topic. For example, yes, for the first time they talk about their school, their activity. Is it hard for them to do from morning until evening activity at school? But after that, they moved to came for the example, but it's casually moved, not by intention, something like that. So they just talk, what's that, comfortably without saying the topic, just talk and use the word that they listed before.
Okay. If it is you are going to debate, like you have discussion and then you go to debate, you have to know whether you are meeting the goal. If you see a lot of groups are doing similar thing, like they are not talking about for example, your topic is whether we eat ice cream or not. They are talking about something different. They talk about lipstick, they talk about hobby, something different, though it is in English, meaning they are talking something or they are discussing something out of the topic. You need to maybe limit the time, make it shorter, maybe because they have finished. As long as they have finished, right, Ibu, they are done with the discussion. And then you see that, oh, they are already, and it's normal. Wherever you go, when you are given a task, you are discussing, and then you are done with your task, and then you start to talk something else. That's normal. So meaning as a teacher, you need to stop it in a nice way. Okay, I think everyone has done with their part, with the discussion. I think we move on to the next activity, Ibu. Maybe because it is a bit too long for them to do it. So they have free time to discuss something out of the topic. For me, myself, I prefer to stop it. But then if there is, like when you are moving around, they have discussion, you can take note. And then if you have free time at the end of your lesson, you have an ample time, like extra time, you can talk about it because they will love it. They will talk a lot when they discuss something that they like. I think that's the idea that I can give you, Ibu.
Okay, thank you. I think I'm going to do that.
No problem, Ibu. Okay, I think that's all right. Is there anyone else before we end the session? Okay, I think that's all, Ms. Miftah. We can end the session. I think that's the end of our session today. I'm very happy. First of all, I would like to appreciate the English Massive teachers who have submitted their work. I really love reading your essays. Some of you even did an amazing one. Like I felt like I was teaching previously, I was teaching in a university. That's why I felt like I was teaching in a university when students are being serious doing their work. And I'm very, very happy with the result of the independent work. And we are looking forward for the other independent study. So next week, there will be independent study and we will meet again next 2 weeks. And once again, thank you very much for sparing your time to have a discussion, to listen, and to participate with us today. Once again, thank you very much. And have a wonderful day. Ms. Miftah, over to you.
Thank you, Ms. Yannik. Well, Bapak Ibu, if you have any question, maybe atau yang hari ini kelewat, bisa nonton di streamingnya YouTube English Massive ya. Thank you very much for coming today. Thank you, Ms. Yannik. Okay, let us take a picture. Bapak Ibu, please turn on your camera. Wait. Okay, we're going to the first slide. 1, 2, 3, smile.